Stresses and changes for WWE Raw on Netflix, The Rock appears on NXT and says nothing, new champions, a WWE Title Switch, and more. I'm Luke Owen, your Jam That Champion, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
We're now a few days removed from the latest new era of WWE as Raw debuted on Netflix, which we know as every second person who grabbed a microphone on that show reminded us. The show saw the return of The Rock to seemingly bury the hatchet with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, The Undertaker offer Rhea Ripley a ride on his bike after she won the Women's World Championship, Roman Reigns win back the Ula Fala from Solo Sikoa, which is how I won this beauty here, and Hulk Hogan had his own Monty Burns moment as he asked the crowd if they were saying Boogan. Boo-ogan. Boo-ogan? Does that work?
Are you saying boo or boo-earns?
I was saying boo-earns.
Fightful Select are reporting that there was production for Raw only seen by the likes of WrestleMania per those we spoke to, which suggests that not everything we saw from the debut episode will survive into weekly TV. Triple H said self in the post-show press conference that the weekly episodic version of Raw on Netflix will start with next week's show. And that level of production also meant, according to Fightful Select, the backstage area was a stressful one considering the importance of the show. Fightful also added although Raw ran for 3 hours this week, it could have gone longer if they wanted to, as Netflix has given them a flexible out time. Speaking of Hogan getting booed by the LA crowd, Fightful Select also reports there were huge boos for the video package that aired announcing next year's Royal Rumble will take place in Saudi Arabia. Those boos did not make it to television. But the ones for Hogan sure did. On the day of the Netflix debut, WWE put out a press release announcing a multi-year partnership with Hogan's Real American Beer, who will now be one of Raw's main sponsors. WWE also owns a minority stake in the company, as per the press release. To celebrate this news, Hogan appeared in front of the crowd on Raw, along with Jimmy Hart waving an American flag, and the crowd loudly said, "Boo!" The story has received mainstream news coverage, not the beer or the partnership, but Hogan getting booed. If anything, it was one of the more talked about elements from the Raw debut on Netflix. And according to the Daily Mail here in the UK, Hogan was very surprised about the reaction he got. Now, bear in mind, this comes from the Daily Mail, so do take this with a pinch of salt, but their source claims, did Hulk think he was going to get cheered, especially bringing out Jimmy Hart, who everyone likes, and who was also waving an American flag at the time? That is a resounding yes. They add that Hogan was disappointed by the reaction, but wasn't pissed about it. They also claim, had it not been for him being there to promote his beer, he would have leaned into it a little more, but he just had to get through the promotion of it all. Perhaps this is my millennial cynical brain kicking in, but sure sounds like a lot of PR spin there, especially as their source adds, after thinking about it, a few good things did come out of it. Like, what good things? But while Hogan made it onto the show, a few names that did not. Prior to Raw, there were a lot of rumours that Becky Lynch would be making her return to WWE on the Raw debut. Lynch left the company last year when her contract expired, but the overall feeling is that she will go back to WWE when she's ready to return. Her IRL husband, Seth Rollins, even noted that she's taking time off to spend it with her family. Lynch was also at the Netflix and WWE launch event last month, but reportedly was only there to support Rollins, who was also in attendance. And according to Fightful Select, talent within WWE did expect the man to return to Raw on the debut episode on Netflix, which ultimately did not happen. But according to Corey Hayes of Bodyslam.net, it was supposed to. Bodyslam reported following the show that Becky Lynch was scheduled to appear tonight. She was in town. She was scheduled to appear within that Women's World Championship segment. He notes, however, that this was changed to feature the Undertaker cameo instead, presumably designed to appeal to the lapsed fans who would recognize a face from the past. However, this might not be the case, as Fightful Select report that while WWE talent did expect her to be there, not only was Becky Lynch not on the show, she wasn't at the show. Sean Ross Sapp reports that Lynch was never planned for the Raw debut on Netflix and was not cut for Undertaker's cameo. However, he also adds, we're told that as of the end of 2024 that neither her WrestleMania plans or return plans had been solidified, though some in WWE do expect her to be there for WrestleMania. But what about Pentagon Jr.? After weeks of teasers, it was speculated that the former AEW Tag Team Champion would be debuting on the Raw Netflix episode. However, it was instead announced that Chad Gable would have a match next week against an unnamed luchador. Triple H noted in the post-show press conference that, yeah, we can all figure out who that is. It's the return of Sin Cara. Watch out for your little finger there. Penta instead got another video package, this time revealing his name. But according to Dave Meltzer, Pentagon Jr. was scheduled to debut on this episode of Raw, but was pulled at the last minute to debut him next week instead. Perhaps this is similar to the Women's Intercontinental Championship Finals, which were originally reported to take place on this episode of Raw, but were moved to next week so they didn't get lost in the shuffle. But it's not just Raw though, as WWE's train rolled on, and as he teased on Raw, The Rock did appear on last night's NXT New Year's Evil, which aired on Netflix here in the UK and in other territories, while also on the CW in the United States. What that means though is that unlike Raw, NXT does have a hard time limit. This hilariously led to a closing promo from The Rock where his entrance took so long he was informed he only had 6 minutes left on the broadcast to cut his promo, which essentially amounted to, thanks for coming and thanks for supporting NXT. He added that the reactions that NXT wrestlers get are important, as they could be main eventing WrestleMania in a few years or out of business. One reviewer called it a haphazard promo that went nowhere, and the online reaction to it on places like Reddit and Twitter have equally been making fun of it. Which probably means The Rock will bring it up in his next promo segment, as the start of this promo segment was addressing the criticisms that his promo segment from Raw got. The Rock followed Triple H's in-ring promo on the Netflix debut to put over what a monumental moment this was for WWE and how exciting it was to be there. He also put over Roman Reigns as the tribal chief and put over Cody Rhodes as the man who's carried this company on his back for the last year as WWE Champion. He even joked with Cody Rhodes about the Mama Rhodes angles from last year, shook hands with him, and hugged him. This, despite the aforementioned Mama Rhodes promos and showing up at the end of Bad Blood, staring down Rhodes and Reigns while doing the throat slit motion. Fans derided the promo, saying that it threw away all of the good work that Rhodes, Rock, and WWE did last year to create a compelling story heading into WrestleMania 40. Our own Ollie Davis even thought it came across as a burial of Cody Rhodes, who just had to stand there and smile in the crowd and laugh as The Rock joked about his mum. It had been reported that the original direction for WrestleMania 41 was The Rock versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, but Dave Meltzer originally reported that Rock might not be working this year's WrestleMania. It has since been reported that The Rock still isn't sure if he can do Mania this year, as he'll be doing reshoots for the live-action Moana movie for Disney around that time. And The Rock addressed the criticisms of that promo in his promo on last night's NXT, saying that last year fans complained about him being too mean to Cody, and now they're complaining for him being too nice to Cody. Oh, I don't think that's why people didn't like the Raw promo, Rock. I think you might have missed the point there. He added, The Rock is the final boss, thinking 20 steps ahead, so the best thing for them to do is to know their role, shut their mouths, and enjoy the ride that The Rock is taking them on. AKA, we're making it up as we go along. What did you make of the promo? Let me know in the comments down below. But it sure was a packed NXT New Year's Evil last night, and a really good one at that. It was, in fact, a lot better than Raw. Stephanie Vaquer became the #1 contender to the Women's North American Championship in a really fun match. Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, and Shotzi defeated Fatal Influence, which saw Shotzi pin the champion, which also sets her up as a potential challenger for the title, and Lexis King retained his Heritage Cup against Charlie Dempsey in another really good match. But the show was bookended, The Rock's final promo notwithstanding, with 2 big title matches and 2 big title changes, as Julia won the NXT Women's Championship from Roxanne Perez in a terrific match, and Oba Femi won the NXT Championship in a 3-way with Trick Williams and Eddie Thorpe. Where's my Oba Feminists at? It was a Great episode of NXT, and a good reminder that it probably is the best weekly TV show in North America. But it's not just NXT that saw new champions crowned, as WWE officially confirmed a new lineup for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Following the mystery attack on Jade Cargill to, reportedly, cover up an injury to her, Bianca Belair chose Naomi to help her defend the Women's Tag Team titles against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae, and Naomi said that she would only consider herself a champion until she defended the titles with Belair, which they did on the taped December 20th edition of SmackDown. WWE tweeted that they were the Women's Tag Team Champions, and the lower third for the pair on the Raw debut on Netflix also noted that they were the champs. And now WWE.com has made the switch official, replacing Cargill on the roster page with Naomi as one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. The lineage page for the title has also been updated, recognizing this Belair run with the tag titles as one uninterrupted one since she won the titles from the Unholy Union. If you want to hear some in-depth thoughts on the Raw debut on Netflix, check out yesterday's WrestleTalk podcast review of the show with myself and Oliver Davis by clicking the video on screen right now.